Hello, welcome to African Travel and More. I'm your host, Yolandra, and if you would like to see more videos like this, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for that support. Now, a month ago, I did a video on free land in Ghana, and it received a lot of response. A lot of people had questions about it, they had comments. I even had people on my Facebook page. I shook the crazy tree. Remember, I had a lot of racists on my page saying that they were going to pay for us to go. I have yet to receive the funds that were going to be given for me to return. I don't know, let me know if you received those funds, anybody. But anyways, today I have an update. It's good news. It's going to give you more insight to what's taking place in Asebu village. And you're going to hear it from Rabbi Cohain, who is one of the key people in Ghana for this Pan-African project. And I reached out to Ekow Simpson, who is another, he's a fellow educator and a Ghanaian YouTuber, and he was able to put this out. So go ahead, listen, comment, tell me what you think about this, and yeah, thank you for support. So listen and see what is being said about that free land.
So, what is the update? What is happening with the land right now?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Well, first and foremost, I would like to give thanks and praise to the Creator of the universe and to our great African ancestors. And along with that, I'd like to also once again thank Nana Okatachi Amanfi VII, the Asebu Henny, and his Council of Elders who had this visionary initiative to have something substantial to welcome our brothers and sisters home from the diaspora who have been dispersed by no fault of their own. And also to the President of the Republic of Ghana for having endorsed this initiative, and for the committee that is working with Okatachi to make sure that the Asebu Pan-African Village is a successful project. As you all heard, 5,000 acres were set aside by the Asebu Traditional Council in order for Africans coming from the diaspora who've been separated from their land, language, and culture for over 4 centuries to have a way and a pathway back home to Mother Ghana. And so it was a raw vision, something that Nana was inspired to do by virtue of the year of return. And what I mean by raw is that he had the land, and the land was undemarcated. It was there, fruitful, fertile land, but there was a process that he had to undertake along with other professionals to be able to demarcate the land, properly set up the land so that it can be prepared for distribution for anybody who showed interest. And fortunately, that has been done. At least the first 100 acres has been done, which has made available over 350 plots, and people have began to purchase and register for those plots. In the meantime, they're trying to service some of the infrastructure and to make sure that the deeds, or what we say here, indentures, and everything reflects the ideal of a new Pan-African village being set up. This is a brand new initiative, and as a brand new initiative, it takes time to build the process so that it's tight and solid. So right now, we're in the logistical point of how we register those who express interest and those who put up their nominal registration or administration fee. As I said, the land was given out with no cost for the land itself, but there are administrative costs that one has to pay in order to be able to get the actual paperwork, demarcation done, survey done, what we call site plan done. All these things incur expenses, which is a part of the minimal cost of $700 that has been cited for those who express interest to register. Now, what I want to express is that because this is an historical initiative, we have added on to this package those who are coming in from the outside, what we call a wellness program and orientation. Having been separated from the land, language, and culture for centuries, we realize that coming back home is not just an automatic process of landing at the airport and throwing up our hands and saying, I'm home. There has to be some orientation whereby we're able to give or expose our brothers and sisters to a program that brings them into continuity with the cultural norms of where they have landed. In this case, to the central region, to the Asebu village, that their customs and their norms that we have to reacquaint ourselves with, so that there's a smooth transition of coming from a society in the West, be it the Americas or the Caribbean, and coming back home to Mother Africa. And so we have put together a team of experts who are prepared and willing, both from the traditional and the civil and the private sector, to offer themselves to give workshops and classes for orientation and familiarity. You know, when you go to relocate to other lands, you take courses before you become an American citizen, or, you know, Jews going to Israel from Eastern Europe or any other place. They have to be acclimated to the land, the culture, the topography, the language. All these things are offered in a sophisticated manner. So now, as Ghana is preparing to go beyond the return, and they put out 7 pillars, and they're inviting brothers and sisters to come back home, Ghana is also in the process of developing a transition program. And because Asebu is in the forefront of that, by offering land and people coming to resettle, Asebu has to take the lead to offer a resettlement program and a system of orientation that actually includes workshops, classes, information, language, history, cultural norms, and taboos that one will have to go through in order to qualify fully. When I say qualify, no one should get afraid, but qualify in the sense of feeling comfortable in a new environment amongst your new family, new old and new refound family, so that you are equipped, or at least the basic equipment of how to function in Ghanaian society, and in this case in the central region. And it's only to your benefit to have a special program put aside so that this can take place. And we are offering that. Actually, we laid it out to like a 10-week program. We may be some alterations, some editing of that, depending on the compliments we get or the contributions and comments that we get from those who participate in it. But the idea is to prepare you for the return. As I said, returning back to Africa in general, and Ghana in particular, it takes a lot more than purchasing a plane ticket and boarding your flight and landing. It takes a new renewal of the mind and a renewal of the spirit in order to be acquainted with the long-lost family and to come here and feel comfortable. Now, just to share a little more with you, some people have criticized some of this, or not say criticized it as a bad idea, but are skeptical about the idea of land being set aside for Africans in the diaspora, coming back here to Mother Ghana or anywhere else in Africa, and possibly setting up separate communities. And they've cited experiences like Liberia and Sierra Leone that grew in conflict, and communities grew autonomous without integrating properly with the community that was indigenous on the land. But I like to say that is a wrong comparison. It's not an equal comparison. It's not a proper parallel. First and foremost, Liberia was not set up as an African initiative of Africans reaching out, trying to heal the African family. It was the American Colonization Society who didn't want free Africans in America. And they came in total disrespect of the indigenous Africans on the land. And one must remember, since this was in the height of the colonial period, they just used basically by their name, Colonial Society, American Colonization Society. So they came with the same mind the colonists came with. They only used black people as their pawns of their experiment. So this has nothing to do with any colonial people setting up a territory for refugees from the diaspora. This is an African family initiative where our African brothers and sisters are inviting our home in Ghana, are inviting our African brothers and sisters in the diaspora to come back home and to be with your own people and to be in your own society. So it's not to be separate. You know, Ghana is a very diverse society with many different cultural groups, and people live here in harmony. The United Nations to do a case study on how people live here in Ghana. You have the Zongo communities, living in Central Region. You have Ewe communities from the Volta region living in Central Region, all over the parts of Ghana. You have people from the north, migrating any area of Ghana they want to come to. Then you have indigenous host communities who make facility. So we have a multicultural, multi-ethnic society already. So Ghana knows how to absorb strangers and still allow them to express themselves and still not give up their cultural experiences that they have and what they bring to the table as a people. So we don't see this initiative being worthy of being compared to experiences like in Liberia or Sierra Leone. What we do find is that there's always miseducation and misleading information that goes out to the public that make us skeptical and paranoid of ourselves. And this is what a project like the Asebu Pan-African Village would like to erase. We are setting a new standard and a new pace for a Pan-African community that's going to take Pan-African consciousness, Pan-African ideals, and the orientation will be both for those coming from the diaspora and those of us on the land. Because again, to become a Pan-Africanist, we need a Pan-African mind. And that Pan-African mind must be grown, must be nurtured, and must be fed. So you should put your mind to rest. At this point, I would like to say those who are interested should go to the Pan-African, Asebu Pan-African Village website to find out detailed information. They have administrators there, they have telephone numbers there, emails there, the people you can talk to and get direct information. So I wanted to remind everyone that when you pay your registration fee and you start your process to get your land, if you're outside, we'd just like to know when you are arriving in Ghana so we can schedule you or fit you into one of those orientation classes so that you can be well again. So that's why we call it the wellness class.
So let me ask you, do we have people who have already started the process and they've had their allocation papers?
Oh yes, certainly. There are people who didn't hesitate. There are people who were really anxious to come on board. So a number of people have paid their registration fee. They've received their receipt, which is the first phase of the process. After that phase of the process of them having received their receipt, then they are identified with a plot, an actual plot. And when that plot is identified and matched up with that person's name, they receive a land allocation or plot allocation certificate, which actually confirms that they've gone through the first phase, they have been assigned a plot, and now they are waiting for their indenture to be processed.
Okay, so that means right now people can start, those who have had theirs, they can start doing something on the land.
Yes, absolutely. We have had the affirmation from Okatachi, Nana Okatachi, Amenfi, the 7th, that they are free to begin to start their projects. Of course, our committee is responsible for at least consulting with people. Some people have no experience whatsoever in Ghana. They don't know where to start with, for architects or for, land excavation or any of that. So we have a committee that is set up to help them in that process, to advise them in that process. And we also like to see what the intent is. Like here, you have to come up with a plan, submit it to the planning department. They have to give you a building permit. And that's predicated upon your structure being meeting all the safety requirements. So we say, you're free to build, but there's a process. And so people shouldn't be intimidated by the process, because in the long run, it's going to help you out.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.